Welcome to the City of Florissant podcast, where we talk anything and everything related to the beautiful City of Florissant.
Hi, I'm Florissant Mayor Tim Lowery, and welcome to another edition of the Mayor's Podcast Show. With me today, I'm very excited to introduce Patrick Mulcahy, who's the new Director of Economic Development for the City of Florissant. Welcome, Pat, and thanks for joining me today.
Thank you, Mayor. It's my pleasure to be here.
And of course, Pat, for the people, you spent the last 2.5 years on the Florissant City Council representing Ward 6. And of course, you and I had a conversation. I knew about your background and knew that you led into economic development. And so we started this conversation some time ago about bringing you on board as the new economic developer. So Patrick, why don't you tell us about yourself and what's led you to this position of Director of Economic Development?
Thank you, Mayor. I have a long history in public policy and government, which specifically relates to economic development. I have about 10 years of local and state government experience, and I also have an advanced degree in public policy administration from the University of Missouri St. Louis, and I also received a certificate in the fundamentals of economic development from UMSL as well. But as far as my experience, I started in Jefferson City, working in the Missouri House of Representatives, worked there about 3 years in our state capital, and then I came back to St. Louis to work at the St. Louis County Council, where I worked for the 5th Council District. And in that position, I was the executive assistant to a St. Louis County councilman, and we had about 150,000 people in our district, and we had some parts of unincorporated St. Louis County as well. And for the unincorporated parts of St. Louis County, our office kind of played the role of mayor and economic development and council for that part of St. Louis County. So I have a lot of experience working with developers and business groups from that position. And then, obviously, you mentioned after I left St. Louis County, I joined the Florissant City Council, and I worked very closely with the businesses in my ward and throughout the city of Florissant as well in that position.
And I know this was a very difficult decision for you because you really did enjoy representing the people of Ward 6. And I know that your passion really showed every day that you really did care about your ward. So I know it was a tough decision for you.
Yeah. So, serving on the council was, a dream for me to represent the neighborhoods and the people I grew up with. It was just, a lifelong dream to have that position, but seeing the opportunity to be able to work for the people of Florissant all day, every day, just kind of sealed the deal for me to make this move.
Of course, another thing that, of course, with your educational background and your history and everything, but the one thing I really liked about you is the fact that you are a lifelong Florissant resident and you do understand the city of Florissant.
Yes. So I grew up, right now we're in the government building on St. Francis Street, and I literally grew up 2 blocks away at St. Francis and Aubuchon. And then when I first came back to St. Louis to work for the St. Louis County Council is when I bought my first home in Florissant, and I didn't go very far. That house is about eight houses from the house I grew up in. So born and raised and not going anywhere.
Very good. And the thing is that, we know how important economic development is. I've been talking about this during my first 3.5 years as mayor, and you understand how important economic development is for our city. We hear it a lot from our citizens, and I know that there's a lot that we can do, and I know that you've already hit the ground running. You've already had a lot of great conversations, and where do you believe, or where would you like to see this position taken in the city for economic development?
Sure. So we have a lot of strong points here in Florissant. We have a great historic district that we can build off of. And then we also have the Lindbergh Corridor, which is just a great area for retail for our city. And we have a good base to work off of, but I think we can definitely build off of that base and keep growing our retail sector. And then we also have the 270 project, which is a huge development here in Florissant. I believe it's the largest project MoDOT has ever done.
That's correct.
So that's right here in our backyard, and something that it's a great entryway into our city, and it's just one more thing we can build off here in the future.
And then, of course, Patrick, the other thing that you and I have talked about is that we are talking to home developer, trying to get some new homes in the city of Florissant also. Some different areas that we're looking at, and certainly working with the company there to try to bring in some new homes also, to try to generate some new homes, some new interest in the city of Florissant, and trying to bring young families into the city.
Yes. I think it's very important to have somewhere for young families who may have bought their starter home here in Florissant, but they're kind of outgrowing it as their family's growing. So it's important for us to have places where if they want to stay in Florissant, which a lot of people do, where they can move into a larger home and still be in the city of Florissant.
Absolutely. And of course, one thing that we always recognize is that how important our small business operators are here in the city of Florissant. This city is built on the small businesses. So we certainly want to do everything that we can to encourage that, certainly working with our Chamber of Commerce and how important those are for the overall health of economic development in the city of Florissant.
So yes, Mayor, our small businesses are vital to Florissant. It's not just about the big retailers. We want to focus on our small businesses as well. And I do serve as a board member on Florissant Old Town Partners. So I've worked with a lot of the small businesses in the historic Old Town District already. And as you said, the chamber will be a great resource that we can use as well.
Absolutely. And then, of course, moving on to the corporate business. I mean, we both hear a lot about the different retail stores that people like to see, or the restaurants, things like that. And you and I just attended a conference where we had an opportunity to meet with some of these people already. You're only 2 weeks into the job, and we've already began these conversations, trying to bring those big retailers into Florissant and those restaurants into Florissant.
Yes, Mayor. There's definitely a great base of retail here in the city of Florissant, like I mentioned earlier. But there's definitely things that we are missing that we can hopefully work together to attract, like you said, some different restaurants or some different retailers, specifically clothing stores or, athletic apparel, things like that we can work to try and attract here to Florissant.
Very good. Is there anything else, Patrick, that you'd like to add?
I just want to say I'm very excited to start this position. Like you said, I've only been in the job about 2 weeks, but I feel like we've already hit the ground running. We've had some great meetings, and we've already been to a conference where we've had some great talks with national retailers as well. And it's just it's a great opportunity to work all day, every day for the city I love. And I'm just ready to get started.
Well, Patrick, I'll tell you, I'm also excited that you accepted this position. I think you're definitely the right person for this job, and I do believe that you will help move Florissant forward. So thank you for accepting the position, and I know that you're the right person, and we will start seeing some good development here in the city. Thank you. This concludes another Mayor's Podcast Show. We are Florissant Strong. Thank you.